Hi, I'm Michael Karakopoulos.
And I'm Zach Reed.
And welcome to Below the Line. On today's episode, we're going to be giving you an update on current movies, TV shows, and new movies coming soon. So let's get started. And welcome to the show. On today's show, Zach and I are going to be discussing a lot of new movies. One of the new movies that we will be discussing is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Awesome
Which
movie.
Zach said he just saw last night.
I saw it last night. It is great. Anybody who is a Freddie Mercury fan or Queen, you have to see this movie. Now, I will say, after reading a lot of reviews online talking about how they wish it would have gone more into depth about Freddie's life, the behind the scenes, the stuff that he didn't really talk about, but the movie was so wonderful. Robbie played this role so well, and it's really quite an enjoyable film if you like any type of music and comedy mixed together. And the fact is, the AIDS epidemic in the 80s was really not talked about, and especially for the fact that you have this huge pop star that went through this whole time period of, he had the disease, and he went and he performed, and he did all the charity events and everything. But if you are any type of music fan, I would highly, highly recommend seeing this film.
Oh, definitely. So what do you think you'd give a rating of that out of 1 to 10?
Honestly, about a 9.
About a 9?
It was really good.
Okay, so it's a pretty good movie. So if anyone's a fan of older type of music or of that specific band, definitely go out and check it out. Another movie that is coming out today is The Nutcracker, which we have not have time to see it, but we've heard fantastic reviews on it.
It's Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a Disney movie, so they're probably going to hit out of the park either way. I must say that the casting is pretty interesting. The guy who plays, the actor who plays the Nutcracker was only in one other movie, so I don't know how he's going to do with this being his second big movie,
but you have Morgan Freeman and Meryl Streep in a movie together.
That's fair. Yeah, that's also another good thing about it is having big A-list actors.
It's a very big A-list actors.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely going to be more of a family film than anything.
Oh, hands. I mean, it is a Disney movie, like we were saying, so it probably will be.
So if you are looking for something this Thanksgiving to go take the kids to see, I would say that'd be a perfect film.
Exactly. And
The Grinch.
The Grinch is definitely a good one. I'm actually looking forward to going to see that because it looks really good for an animated movie.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like Benedict Cumberbatch? And then I'm not a huge Tyler the Creator fan, but his soundtrack on this movie sounds really good.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it sounds just like, honestly, the original soundtrack for like the original movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But I think that even though it's the same type of story, that they're probably going to bring something new into it, or they might kind of put a faster, like a different spin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So it's been a really good time for movies recently. There's not been a lot of big ones that have come out in the past couple of weeks, but there's been some good ones that are coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
All the new DC's hopefully going to hit it out of the park with Aquaman and Shazam. So while we're on Aquaman,
yes,
I do want to talk about DC's new streaming service.
Oh, yeah.
Titans.
Mm-hmm.
It is their version of Teen Titans. Now, I will say the first
episode wasn't the best?
First episode was not the best.
Yeah, no.
Because you had to really get into it. I don't like exactly the casting they did for everybody. But I have watched all 3 episodes. Episode 4 is coming out. I am surprised. I am actually surprised. I love the kid who plays Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic job.
Okay.
The animation is actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
DC, it's not the best show I've ever seen. It's different because there is no TV station where there's not filtered and they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very violent.
Yeah.
But I have to say it's actually very good.
Yeah.
Not my favorite show compared to Arrowverse, but
definitely.
if you're a fan of Teen Titans, it's something to look into. Just to try. You might like it. It's not.
It may not be for you, but it's one of those things that you could sit down on like a Thursday afternoon or a Friday afternoon and watch the episode and still enjoy it like with your friends. And yeah, so is there anything else that you feel like you'd like to say about the show?
I mean, no, it's different. I guess I grew up watching the original
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans
Yeah.
and the cartoon animated version,
Mhm.
but it's actually not too bad. You know, it's gonna get better over time. It takes time for a show to really set its feet in the ground, and the first season's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is getting there, and it's honestly got some really funny scenes in it.
Yeah.
So on to the next stuff.
The next stuff, speaking of DC, which I was going to say was the Arrowverse.
Yes.
So this year, with the crossover, I found out a couple weeks ago that it's called Elseworlds. And I also found out, if anybody is an OG Flash fan, John Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in, I believe, the 90s,
Yes.
is coming back in his original Flash suit and is reprising the role of Barry Allen for the crossover, as well as Stephen Amell and Grant Gusner switching roles, which I thought was really cool, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting dynamic between them with the opposites, I guess.
It really is. I think it's going to be an interesting combination because you have that dark, gloomy Arrow
Yeah.
now going to be the super pumped up Barry,
Yeah.
Barry Allen.
And then you have the super pumped up Barry Allen as the really dark and gritty,
Exactly.
you know, Arrow.
So it's gonna be a good mix up of
Yeah.
what they're gonna do, but you know I really do love talking about DC and Marvel and animation.
Yeah.
But you know some really interesting stuff has come out this year. Law and Order SVU has been on for almost 21 seasons, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they are not getting the numbers they're normally getting. This season has had the all-time low on viewership so far. But that's not the only show. It's, you know, a lot of these shows that have been on primetime television that you've watched for a couple years have had, you know, average of 4.2, 4.5 million viewers, and recently they're down to like 2.8, 3.1.
Yeah.
Which it could just be, you know, people don't have time right now, and you know everything going on in the world. It's kind of hard to keep track of television, or you go back and watch it later.
Yeah.
But it's very surprising to me because the show has had such a good following for so long that now the numbers are starting to go down. I think last week they got up to 4 million, which is still a little bit lower than normal on the show.
Yeah.
But you know, for something that's been on for 21 seasons, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Well, see, that's the other thing, because I did see recently, not to sort of take a step back, but I did see The Flash has gotten less viewers in its 5 years that it's been on. I think it was the last episode, the episode before, it has had the least viewers that it's ever had in the entire series run. And I think that, you know, with Law & Order especially, I think one of the main reasons I feel like with Law & Order that it is having that is because it's getting to a point where, you know, it came on in, I think it was like the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of people, you know, were watching it on TV. They'd view it every weekly. Now it's, you go on your laptop and you can watch it the night after it happened, or like even like an hour after the show was on.
Yep.
So I feel like one of the main reasons for that could be streaming services. It might not be. It could be viewership because people aren't, you know, or people are working all the time and they aren't able to watch it weekly.
Exactly. I mean,
So-
and it's really going to depend on what's going on. So like I said, I don't know. It's just something that is kind of interesting for us to talk about, how
Yeah, exactly.
the numbers and the viewerships. And same thing with movies, though. The numbers for the October, late September to October for people
they-
going to see movies
Yeah, they haven't been.
was low. It was
Yeah.
very, very low. You know, but it's that time of year. There's not many big box office movies coming out, and there's not a lot of stuff. And again, it's the beginning of the season for a lot of shows, so you may not have everything getting there.
Yeah.
But to go high number viewerships on
Yeah.
a couple shows that I want to talk about, Manifest.
Oh,
which
yeah.
Manifest has brought in huge numbers because it's more like a Lost show.
It really is, because it has an interesting tone to it.
It
honestly.
does. I missed the first 2 episodes, and I ended up binge watching 1, 2, 3 in the same night, and then 4, 5, and it is really good.
Yeah.
The really twists and turns as you get into the show and you find out, you know, what happened in those 5.5 years, where some people who you thought were gonna be doing this and that, and then you find out you come home and your whole life's changed.
Exactly.
In a matter of that.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of a cool show. Which, going on to another one, if you haven't watched, and you do like that kind of flashback story, A Million Reasons Why. A Million
Yeah.
Little Reasons. I'm sorry, A Million Little Reasons.
Yeah.
Which is on ABC. Very, very good. It reminds me of This Is Us. It really does.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Very, very well done. The storyline is good, and it's. I hate to say this, but it is a tearjerker.
It's a tearjerker?
It's a tearjerker.
Wait, did the series just start?
It did. The first
did?
season was this year.
And what episode did you watch that you said that it really hit you?
Episode 3.
Episode 3?
Episode 3 was very good.
That show, I feel like, has if you hit somebody that hard that early on, I feel like they're going to go on for a decent amount of time. I feel like they could get 3 years, maybe even 5 out of that.
I mean, This Is Us. The first couple episodes of This Is Us made everybody sad.
Exactly. And look how far they've come.
They're going on to season 3 right now, and they're
Exactly.
going strong.
Yeah.
Their amount of the craziness, those guys that went on that show are now getting movies and
Yeah,
everything, and they're winning Oscars for really great acting.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of that real life storyline that everyone has always wanted that has now come out these past couple years.
Yeah.
And a lot of shows are going to that, and I really like the idea of it.
Exactly, and I think that the grittiness is something, you know, bringing it down instead of being up like with superheroes and flying in the sky and sort of being in different planets. I think bringing it down to like the streets and kind of really seeing it from a person's like a human aspect, you know,
Yes.
like a perspective. I think that's what you know, all these shows like This Is Us and you know a million
Little
reasons,
Reasons, yeah.
Million Little Reasons have done that really get people down. I think that should be kind of a blueprint for a lot of shows coming. Because I feel like that really sort of, I feel like that's kind of a tone that a lot of people relate to.
Yeah.
Is the, you know, like when something happens and people actually reacting and not just sort of being like, oh, that happened, let's move to the next point. You really actually hold on to it, and you know, in your mind, you're really thinking about it. And I think that's kind of a good outline for a TV show.
It definitely is. I mean, there's been a lot of really good stuff going on in media for television-wise and for streaming services. Now, I don't know if anybody is a very big fan of battle rap. Battle rap is really kind of cool, and there's a new movie coming out. It is actually produced by YouTube.
Really?
And Eminem is the producer on it also.
Oh, look at that.
So it's called Bodied.
Okay.
It's not showing in a large amount of theaters, but I know, at least where we live in Houston, there's one theater down in the Houston area that's going to be showing it tonight.
Okay.
And watching the trailer is really cool. It has a very big cast, but almost everyone involved in the film is somebody from the early 2000s that helped start battle rap.
Okay.
It's a
That's
lot
cool.
of the older generations of people who really did
Yeah.
create that style with Eminem and who pushed that to the next boundary line. I'm very excited for this film. I'm a huge 8 Mile fan. I love the film.
Yeah.
So really anything that comes into the style of battle rap, I'm very excited about. So if you do like battle rap, I'd recommend seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. And you said that it was made by a lot of the people from the early 2000s.
The early 2000s style.
So kind of like 8 Mile, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes, if you ever saw 8 Mile where, you know, Slim would go up in Detroit and they'd go and battle rap back and forth. The style is exactly the same.
Okay.
But the whole thing is based on battle rap where you compete against somebody else and
Yeah.
you prove that you're better than somebody else, because it's not, I hate to say this, but it's not the mumble rap that we hear nowadays.
Yeah.
Where you can't understand half the things people are saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the real true style of using your words to beat somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's really quite cool and entertaining
Yeah.
to listen to. So I'm kind of excited to see how this movie turns out.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
have to see it, and we'll talk about it in a couple weeks when we get that one seen.
Yeah, and that sounds really interesting, and I would suggest anybody who is interested in that to go see it. In other news, moving to other movie news, one of the biggest things that came out, I think it just came out recently, is the young actress who was in 13 Reasons Why. I apologize, I don't fully remember her name. She just recently got cast in Avengers 4, which I
Yes.
thought was I thought it was an interesting move on their part, because you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, we're gonna see where that goes. I've been reading rumors on it. I've been following the Marvel fan page.
Yeah.
And if the theories are right, she is going to be playing a young Avenger, possibly somebody who, when they come out with the new Avenger line,
Yeah.
they go into
The next phase of.
fourth phase,
Yeah.
I guess we're going to call it, phase 4 of Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see a new group of Avengers. Now, I don't know what her cast is because they haven't announced. They haven't announced anything on it.
Yeah.
But talking about that, if I am correct and the rumors are true, there is possibly a Black Widow movie in production.
Oh yeah.
Possibly.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Again, these are not confirmed rumors, but
Yeah.
there is a bunch of talk online about possibly a deal made with Scarlett Johansson.
I mean, well, speaking of that, what do you think of that? Like, what is your main opinion of seeing a Black Widow movie along with a lot of maybe even branching that into a new phase of Marvel movies?
I'm a big Marvel fan.
I think a lot of people who watch this, a lot of movie people are probably giant Marvel fans.
Yeah.
So it kind of strikes the excitement.
It's kind of hard to really say because do I really think that there's a storyline that I would watch, 2 hours of Black Widow beating up people?
I mean, there are a million, maybe even a trillion comic books that have just, people like Black Widow or even like Hawkeye having their own series that go on for like 200, 300
Yeah.
comics. So, I mean, they could probably find something in there, even if she isn't with the Avengers, just some kind of a story arc where she, maybe even comes up prior to meeting the Avengers
And
or being under Nick Fury's wing or
there
something
could
like
be
that.
there definitely could be a movie in there and based on it. I just don't know what they're going to do with it yet.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with Hawkeye. I don't know if there'd be a real big following for it because it's not like some of the big superheroes like Thor, Captain America,
Yeah,
Iron
that's
Man.
fair. Yeah.
But he's still one of the original Avengers. But honestly, let's look at it in the way of how many Hulk movies have they made that have just
Yeah.
busted.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to really say what they're going to do with it because it comes down to the fact of what writer, producer, and director they have. If they can find a really good storyline with it, then yes, I think it'll be a good movie.
Yeah.
But if they just push something out, which Marvel doesn't,
No.
Iron Man 3 wasn't my favorite.
The Incredible Hulk also wasn't the best, but I also think like they're a company that really thinks through a lot of the movies that they're going to be
Yes.
making, and obviously from what we saw earlier this year, Infinity War was an idea, just a concept 10 years ago to them, and they have been building up to it and probably making it what it was.
Well,
and,
that's
what it
because
became.
the Russo brothers really took this project. They
Yeah.
took this bull by the horns and won.
Yeah, exactly.
They really did.
They ran with it, but that's what I'm saying is with like the Black Widow movie or even the next phase of like Marvel with like the next Avengers movie, they probably have a lot of their movies planned out until 2028. You know,
Yeah.
like so I think, like you said, like we have no idea what it could be. People could take a guess of what it is, but I do have a feeling that they're not just sort of saying, "Hey, here's a movie, come and see it because it's Marvel." Because I don't think they would do that. I don't think that they would just, post a bunch of movies and say, "Hey, we're, coming out with this in 2019 and 2020 and 2021," like just to put it out there so people can come see it. I think they did that for a reason.
I do. I think like I said, it's Marvel. They normally do everything well, but it depends on the writing, the story behind it. So if they can do a really good job with it, then yes, it'll be a good movie.
Exactly.
But like I said, it's got to be done the correct way. I don't think that I'd want to sit in a movie for 2 hours that I'd be bored of halfway through because I'm like, this is like every other spy movie I've watched.
Yeah, exactly.
But getting off this real quick, I want to finish talking about Avengers.
Yes.
They have already announced it's going to be the longest Marvel movie ever.
How long?
They haven't announced.
They haven't announced it's gonna be the
but it's going to
longest
be the
Marvel
longest
movie?
Marvel movie ever. So that's going to be really kind of cool
Dang, yeah.
to see. So if they said it's an 8-hour movie, I will gladly bring a pillow and blanket and sit up in the movie theater
Yeah, exactly.
and watch an 8-hour movie.
Kind of like Titanic, whenever they released that, the whole 3 hours and everything.
Yeah.
If it's as long as you said 8 hours, man,
Ah,
I'll
that'd-
bring like 5 buckets of popcorn, a couple drinks, pillow, blanket. I'll be ready.
Yeah. So I'm honestly just ready for the trailer. So Marvel, if you watch this, please give us a trailer.
Oh yeah. I mean, they did say there was a rumor that it might be released this month.
It's supposed to be this month, and then in December, it's supposed to be a full trailer of Captain Marvel.
I'm
So,
looking forward to that. Just real quick, I don't mean to just go off really too long. I just want to make a real quick comment. The CGI they did on Nick Fury looked really, really good.
Yes.
He looked like he just came out of any movie that he made from the 90s. Like, you know, and I think, you know, that they did a fantastic job with it. Like, you know, what do you think?
I mean, oh man, it's just like, did you ever see Pirates of the Caribbean, the fifth one?
Yeah, I did.
When they CGI'd Johnny
Jack
Depp,
Sp- yeah,
Jack Sparrow.
yeah.
I was very surprised.
Exactly, right?
Animation's gotten good.
They're doing a really good job. I don't know if they are, but I feel like they may be using the same type of technology, because Pirates of the Caribbean is Disney, correct?
Disney.
And Marvel, yeah. So I feel like I don't know if they are, if it's a different type of company, maybe like the same person who's using a different software. But whatever they're doing with the CGI, Disney and Marvel, if you guys are watching this, you're doing a fantastic job.
You can come on the show and talk to us about it.
Yeah,
I would
exactly. You
love
can
to.
CGI our faces or even yours. Like, that. I think that you're doing a fantastic job with it, and I just wanted to make that remark about it, because I think that Captain Marvel will be a good movie.
Yeah.
And from seeing that specific, just that one thing in it, kind of gives me hopes that it'll be
good.
It'll be great.
So
to continue on with what you were saying.
I think that everything's going to be really exciting for the next couple months for TV shows and superheroes
movies, yeah.
and movies. And I know we talk about superheroes a lot, but it's such a big market right now. It's really the main thing that's going on.
Exactly.
There's 7 superhero movies dropping this year between DC and Marvel and a couple other streaming places. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm super excited, and I know
I'm super pumped for what's to come next.
exactly.
So I think that just wraps up the episode for
Yeah.
today. And from Michael Karakopoulos,
And Zach Reed.
we appreciate you watching, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Have a good one.